The lady pounding on my door at 6 a.m. sure as hell wasn't there for thin mints. She's clutching her phone with 911 already dialed, screaming that my wife is some criminal trespasser for daring to move into our house. I'm standing there in my ratty bathrobe, coffee mug steaming in the freezing air, staring at this red-faced maniac who's literally trembling with anger because my wife parked her Toyota in our own driveway overnight. This HOA queen, let's call her Karen Whittaker, is demanding the cops arrest Sofia for the crime of living where she belongs. Her voice bouncing off the icy sidewalk while curtains twitch all down the block. But here's the thing about these neighborhood control freaks, they always pick the wrong fight, eventually smirking face. Because about 20 minutes after Karen hit that call button, she'd be staring at very different paperwork. Eviction notice, with her name on it. What would you do if your HOA president tried to boot your spouse from your own damn property? Drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching from and whether your street has one of these monsters lurking face with tears of joy. Let me rewind and explain how we ended up in this circus. I'm Ahmed, 45, industrial maintenance supervisor. The type who pays bills early, mows on Saturday mornings, and generally keeps to himself. 3 years back I bought this place in Maple Ridge Estates for $295K, solid middle-class spot. HOA dues $180 a month for grass cutting and a mediocre pool. Nothing flashy, just peaceful. 6 months ago, I married Sofia, 38, pediatric ICU nurse who literally keeps tiny humans alive for a living. This weekend was her official move-in. Saturday morning, she's hauling boxes out of her Corolla when the storm arrives, pantsuit, clipboard, the full tyrant uniform. Meet Karen Whittaker, 58, HOA president going on 5 years, the woman who probably measures blades of grass with a micrometer. Retired from the tax office, way too much free time, lives in the oversized corner lot with flower beds so perfect they look photoshopped. 20 minutes after Sofia parks, Karen's charging over like it's the apocalypse. "Excuse me," she barks, pen ready like a dagger. "We do not allow overnight parking here. Multiple vehicles per household need board approval, and that commercial equipment violates residential use rules." Commercial equipment? It's Sofia's nursing bag, stethoscope, BP cuff sitting right there in plain sight, the exact gear she uses to keep kids breathing. But Karen's already writing a $150 ticket, nails tapping the clipboard like machine gun fire pistol. I step out with our marriage license and the deed, both showing Sofia's name right next to mine. She's my wife, Karen, she lives here now. The air smells like her over-mulched roses as I try to stay calm. Karen barely looks. "Rules are rules," slaps the ticket on Sofia's windshield like she just won a war trophy. That's when I see Sofia's face, hurt, small, like she got slapped. This incredible woman who battles death every shift is being treated like trash for existing in her own driveway, pensive face. But Karen's on a roll. "I'll be reporting this boarding house situation to code enforcement, and I'm deeply concerned about all this suspicious medical gear." Medical gear? Like Sofia's running a back alley clinic instead of saving premature bobbies. Her heels click away like gunshots while Sofia stands there frozen, box in arms, wishing she could vanish. Neighbors peeking, curtains snapping shut when I glance over. That night, Sofia's at the kitchen table still in scrubs after a brutal 12-hour PICU shift. "Maybe we just pay it," she whispers, voice heavy. "I don't want trouble." This woman who fights for kids' lives every day is apologizing for causing problems because some retired bully decided she doesn't fit crying face. I grab her hand, still smells like hospital soap. We're not paying and she's not chasing us out. Lying in bed that night, traffic humming far off, I decide, Karen Whittaker just messed with the wrong couple. 3 days later, morning coffee interrupted by a knock. County code guy, clipboard shining. "Complaint about illegal boarding house here." I show him around, 2 bedrooms, 1 married couple, 0 tenants. He sees Sofia's bag size. "Whoever called this in wasted my morning. Y'all have a good one." But Karen's just warming up. That afternoon, Sofia comes home gut-punched. "Someone called the hospital, said I'm misusing equipment, questioned my conduct." Admin laughed it off. Sofia's one of their stars, but the fact someone tried to nuke her career. My fists clenched so hard they hurt, face with symbols on mouth. Then the creepy anonymous notes start. Tuesday, "Keep our neighborhood wholesome," slipped under the wiper. Wednesday, "Some people don't belong in the mailbox." Fancy cream paper, same as Karen's official HOA letters. Thursday is the breaking point. Sofia walks to her car and freezes. Long key scratched down the side, paint peeled back like a wound. She just stares, shoulders dropping. Something in me snapped. That night, I finally read the HOA bylaws, all 47 pages, highlighter in hand, rage building. My old man always said, if they're weaponizing rules, learn 'em better than they ever will. He was right. Karen's breaking her own precious rules left and right. Her fence bylaws say max 6 FD, hers is 69, measured it myself, cold tape in my hand. Her fancy deck edition? No approval on file, and anything over $5K needs board okay. That thing's easily $15K plus dollars. Best part? Bylaws demand consistent, fair enforcement. Can't hammer one person and ignore your own violations. Black and white lawyer language written exactly for petty tyrants like her smiling face with horns. Friday, I file formal complaints against Karen, photos, timeline of her harassment, citing selective enforcement. Request emergency board meeting. Monday night, community center, buzzing lights. Karen struts in with her little fan club ready to crush us. Instead, she finds me sitting calm with a thick folder and zero fear. Before we talk about my family, I say, let's address some real violations. Slide the evidence across. Faces drop as they see her fence and deck pics. Karen turns colors like a mood ring gone wrong rainbow. This is absurd, he's deflecting, she sputters. So the tape measures lying or county records are fake, I ask, dead calm. Silence heavy. Board members, normal folks who just want nice lawns, start grilling her about her own messes. Karen's face now betrayed tomato. This meeting is over. She grabs her stuff, storms out, car door slamming loud enough to echo. Thought that would end it? Nah. Underestimated how vicious a humiliated control freak can get, face with steam from nose. Next morning, strange car across the street, cheap suit, big camera, pie. Sofia calls me at work, voice shaking. Someone's photographing the house. Coffee tasted like acid. Karen hired a tail to dig dirt. The irony, she's paying to prove we're criminals while breaking every rule in the book, face with tears of joy. Wednesday, hospital supervisor pulls Sofia in. Complaint filed, claims she's unstable from neighborhood drama. Supervisor laughs. We both know that's nonsense, but HR has to note it. That night, Sofia's on the bed edge, lavender lotion smell thick, shoulders slumped. Maybe we should move, I can't take someone attacking my job over parking. Realize then this isn't petty fines, it's scorched earth war to force us out fire. Thursday, zoning inspector shows up. Another anonymous tip, we're running a medical office from home. Guy takes one look at the bag, chuckles. Unless you're doing open heart in the living room, this ain't a violation. Friday, I call an HOA attorney, remembered my father-in-law's old war stories. Sarah Khan specializes in this crap, sounds like she's seen every episode. Selective harassment creates liability for the whole association, she says. Hostile housing environment laws can apply, same as workplace bullying. Tells me document everything, then drops the nuke. Request 3 years of HOA financials, they can't refuse members. When power trippers block records, there's usually fire where the smoke is, she adds. I file the request Friday. Karen panics, calls emergency meeting to protect sensitive info from harassment. Smelled like guilt from a mile away fish. Pie keeps following, sloppy now, trails Sofia to the store, idles loud, parks at hospital exit, smoke curling out. Thursday, Sofia's done, marches up, knocks on his window. Want an autograph since you're such a fan. Dude peels out red-faced, stalking a children's nurse, real tough guy clown face. Karen's neighborhood watch meetings, 4 people max, mostly her whining about us. Neighbor Dave tells me later, she spent 45 minutes raging about your wife's car, 0 actual security talk. Then Karen's fatal error. Friday email blast, $800 emergency assessment per house for security upgrades due to recent disruptions. Mentions protecting from disruptive elements, payment in 30 days or liens. Phone explodes that night, quiet neighbors suddenly furious. Nobody likes surprise revenge taxes, pouting face. Karen just made enemies out of the whole damn street. Saturday dawn, crisp air, perfect coffee on porch weather. Instead, I'm dealing with Karen hammering my door at 6 a.m., phone out, 911 ready. Illegal trespasser inside, she screeches, packing like a trapped animal, breath fogging. I'm calling unless this intruder leaves now, pointing at Sofia in her scrubs, badge still clipped, looking mortified. I breathe deep, taste frost and coffee. Karen, this is my wife, you've seen the papers. She snaps, I don't care about your fake documents, no move-ins without MY approval. The way she says this person makes my blood boil. Officer Malik rolls up expecting domestic hell, finds HOA madness instead. I hand over marriage cert deed, Sofia's license. His face goes from alert to not this crap again. Ma'am, he tells Karen, patience fraying, this is civil, they belong here. Karen doubles down, demanding arrest, voice hitting dog whistle levels. Neighbors spill out, Mrs. Ahmed on her porch shaking her head, Dave sipping coffee watching the train wreck, kids pausing bikes to gawk. No crime here, Malik says firm, file another bogus report and we'll talk false reporting. He looks ready to cuff the wrong person face with tears of joy. And that's when the real fun began, because Karen's empire was crumbling and the whole neighborhood finally saw the bully behind the clipboard smiling face with horns. Officer Malik gives Karen one last warning look, the kind that says, don't make me come back here for this nonsense, then heads back to his cruiser. The neighbors start drifting away, murmuring, some shaking their heads, others shooting Karen dirty looks like they've finally seen the wizard behind the curtain smirking face. Karen stands there fuming, phone still in hand, face twisted like she swallowed a lemon whole. She points at me one last time. This isn't over, she hisses, then stomps off down the sidewalk, heels clicking like angry Morse code. Sofia squeezes my arm, whispering, Ahmed, thank you. Her voice is small but steady now. We go back inside, lock the door, and for the first time in weeks, the house feels like ours again, no more waiting for the next shoe to drop. But Karen, she wasn't done digging her own grave, not by a long shot face with tears of joy. Monday rolls around and the $800 emergency assessment email is still burning holes in everyone's inboxes. People who never spoke up before are now replying, all with questions. Why are we paying for security because of one family's parking issue? Can we see the quotes for these upgrades? This smells like retaliation. By Tuesday afternoon, the HOA board's group chat, which I'd been added to after the last meeting as a complaining member, is exploding. 3 board members, normal working folks with day jobs, start asking pointed questions about the assessment. One of them, Linda from down the street, retired teacher, sharp as a tack, drops this bomb. Before we vote on any special assessment, I want to see the full financials, including the records request Ahmed submitted last week. Karen tries to shut it down. This is harassment. The request is under review for privacy concerns. Linda fires back instantly, privacy, we're all members, state law says we get those records within 10 business days, it's been 12, where are they? Crickets from Karen. Wednesday, I get a call from Sarah Khan, my attorney. Good news and better news, she says, sounding almost cheerful. The financials finally arrived after I sent a certified letter reminding them of penalties for noncompliance. And guess what? There are irregularities. She pauses for effect. Several unexplained vendor payments to a landscaping company owned by Karen's nephew. Over $18,000 last year alone, way above market rates for the work done. No competitive bids on file. Also some administrative reimbursements to Karen personally, mileage, supplies that don't match receipts. And the pool maintenance contract, renewed without board vote, to a friend of hers at 30% above previous rates. My coffee nearly comes out my nose, so embezzlement. Not quite provable yet, Sarah says, but enough red flags to demand an audit. And since the association has fiduciary duty to all members, ignoring this could open them to lawsuits. Personal liability for board members who knew and did nothing. Thursday night, emergency board meeting. Again, this time the community center is packed, standing room only, word spread fast about the financial request and Karen's stonewalling. I walk in with my folder, Sarah's notes tucked inside. Linda's there early, arms crossed. Dave, my neighbor, sits front row with a notepad like he's ready to audit on the spot. Karen calls the meeting to order, voice tight. We're here to discuss the invalid records request and... Linda interrupts. Point of order, we need to address the financial discrepancies first. motion to hire an independent CPA to audit the last 3 years' books. Seconded immediately by 3 others. Karen's eyes dart around. That's out of order, we. Vote happens fast, 7-2 in favor, her 2 loyalists vote no, motion passes. Karen's face drains of color. This is ridiculous, you're all being manipulated by. Dave stands up calm as anything. Karen, sit down or we vote on your removal next. The room goes dead quiet, then someone in the back mutters, second that motion. It spreads like wildfire. By the end of the night, a special election is scheduled for 2 weeks out. Recall vote on the entire board, starting with president. Karen storms out again, 3rd time's the charm, muttering about lawyers and slander. The next 2 weeks, pure chaos for her, pure satisfaction for everyone else, smiling face with horns. Neighbors start comparing notes. Turns out Karen's nephew's landscaping crew barely showed up half the time, photos of overgrown common areas while her own yard looked like a golf course. One guy found old emails where she approved payments to herself for office supplies that included fancy garden gnomes for her personal collection. The CPA audit paid for by HOA funds per bylaws confirms it, over $32,000 in questionable expenditures tied directly to Karen and her circle. Not full-on jail-level fraud yet, but enough to breach fiduciary duty big time. Recall vote day arrives. Turnout is massive, highest in years. Ballots counted publicly in the community center under fluorescent lights that buzz like victory anthems. Results: Karen removed as president and board member, 81% in favor. Her 2 cronies also voted out. New interim board elected on the spot, Linda as president, Dave as treasurer. Karen doesn't even show up. Word is she was seen packing boxes into her SUV that afternoon, real estate sign already in her front yard by evening. Turns out, facing personal liability for the misused funds HOA could sue her to recover, plus the humiliation, she decided to sell and move. Last I heard, she relocated to some quiet condo complex with no HOA. Irony much? Face with tears of joy. The new board, first order of business, rescind that $800 assessment, drop all fines against us, revise the bylaws to require competitive bids, term limits for officers, and mandatory financial transparency. Sofia's car got repainted on the HOA's dime as a goodwill gesture. No more anonymous notes, no more pie lurking. Neighbors wave now, actual friendly waves. Saturday mornings, we sit on the porch with coffee, watching the world wake up. No pounding doors, no sirens, just peace. And sometimes, when the wind's right, I swear I can still hear those heels clicking away in the distance, getting fainter, every day relieved face. So yeah, if your HOA prez is on a power trip, document everything, know the rules better than they do, rally the neighbors when they overreach, and watch the mighty fall.